I'm a rich American, so I've always had pools, and I've always had pool boys. So here's the top 3 coolest pool boys I ever had in order from third coolest to first. The third coolest pool boy I ever had was this guy named Langford, and I thought that was a pretty cool name, but the main thing that was cool about him was how calm and peaceful he looked when he was working. I wouldn't say he was dead in the eyes, but when you saw his face, you could tell that there was a big part of him that wasn't there. To me, that's a compliment, because the last thing you want to be when you have a job like pool cleaning is to be like fully conscious of every moment. Ironically, he did the best actual pool cleaning job of anybody, which says a lot about life, I think, and how to positively approach tedious work. Just check out. Know your job, but check out. Go by muscle memory or whatever and live in your imagination. If you told me that Langford went on to write a really well-received science fiction trilogy, I would not be surprised at all. And I hope they interview me about him, and I could say the way he cleaned my pool made me think he was already a pretty good pro stylist. He was my third coolest pool boy, and he cleaned my pool for a year. The second coolest pool boy I ever had wasn't really a boy, but it was this guy named Casey. And that wasn't what was cool about him, because I don't think Casey's a very cool name. The cool thing about Casey was that I got into several pretty intelligent conversations with him. And we even talked about string theory one time, which is a pretty heavy subject. The thing we kind of agreed on with string theory was that neither of us could really wrap our minds around it. And if you know anything about string theory, you know that doesn't mean we weren't really smart, because a lot of actual physicists admit they can't get their minds around it. So, I thought that was really cool that we both had that in common with actual physicists. The other thing about Casey was he always listened to music on large headphones. And I know this because I asked him that he always listened to funk. And yet, he never once moved his body in any way that would tell an onlooker he was listening to funk, a form of music arguably created to get your body moving. That's not really cool, just interesting that someone could so stoically listen to funk. Casey cleaned my pool for 2 years. And the very coolest pool boy I ever had just showed up once. I can only assume he was the father of the pool boy I had at the time, Ben, who was not cool at all. And this guy was sort of filling in for his son last minute. The thing was, he didn't ever really clean my pool. He just kind of stood there smoking a cigar. And it looked like, he was working some things out in his life. And then when he was done with the cigar, I saw him take a big breath, like a sigh, and he flicked his cigar in the pool, which is the exact opposite of what being a pool boy is all about. Then he left, and I never found out what he was going through, but I bet it was a big deal, because his son Ben never came back either, and I bet it was something that affected the whole family. Mysteries and rebellion are inherently cool, I guess, because this guy did several things that were pretty uncool, and he still tops the list. By the way, Langford's back and is now my pool boy. I think he flunked out of college.